Hi, my name is Rabbi Dunner. Welcome to my weekly Erev Shabbat Torah, this week for Parshat Chayei. In Chayei, we get to meet Avraham's remarkable chief of staff, Eliezer. There is an amazing characterization of him in the Parsha, and I'd like to share it with you. The Torah tells us that Avraham relied on Eliezer to locate a wife for Yitzchak, his son, and the Torah describes Eliezer as follows. Avraham turned to Eliezer, the elder of his household, who ruled over all his possessions, and then he asked him to go and find a wife for Yitzchak. Excuse me? What connection does ruling over someone's possessions have to do with matchmaking? The greatest financial guru could actually be totally useless at finding someone a wife. I mean, if you were looking for a shidduch for your son or your daughter, would you turn to Warren Buffett for advice, or Jeff Bezos, or Elon Musk? No, right? So why does the Torah characterize Eliezer in this way with reference to finding Yitzchak a wife? Let me tell you a story. Many years ago, I was on a flight. I don't remember from where or to where. I think it was an overnight flight. And I got into a conversation with a guy sitting next to me he was on a business trip. Turns out he was Jewish and very cynical about religion. Perfect. He asked me a million questions, and I tried to answer them as best I could. Then the meal came. I was served kosher, of course, a tiny piece of stewed chicken in heavy gravy, hiding under a few peas and carrots, and some very nebuchdik-looking potatoes. And to get to the food, I had to pierce heavy-duty plastic wrap and unwrap mounds of aluminum foil. Meanwhile, my newfound friend, Mr. Cynical Jew, the business executive, was served a gorgeous piece of roast chicken on fine china with a succulent side dish of potatoes au gratin and a glass of fine wine. He tucked his napkin into his collar and turned to me, a smile hovering on his lips. Unsubtly, he glanced over at my pathetic kosher mush, and with eyes twinkling, he said, "I'd love to offer you my meal. I'm sorry you can't eat it." I grinned at him. "But of course I can eat it," I said. "In fact, I think I'll switch with you right now." His smile faded very quickly. He was obviously famished and was looking forward to his meal. He hadn't really intended to give away his portion, but still, he was really surprised at my response. Why had I said that I can eat it? I saw the concern in his face. "My dear friend," I said, "I can have your food if I want it. If I don't want it, I won't eat it. You see, I have free choice and control over what I eat and what I don't eat. The Torah instructs me not to eat this food, but I have a choice as to whether I listen to what the Torah says or don't listen to what the Torah says. I have decided to listen and not to eat the food, even though I could if I wanted, and you've offered it to me. But let me ask you a question." That's what I said to him. "You're hungry right now. Could you put the cover back on your food and not eat it?" My neighbor smiled sheepishly. "Well, you may not eat it. I, however, cannot not eat it." The Kli Yakar explains that the criterion for objective and unbiased decisions is the ability to be in total control over any influencing impediment. Avraham's servant Eliezer ruled over all of Avraham's possessions, and you know what? They did not rule over him. That is why Avraham knew that Eliezer would not be unduly influenced in his thought process and decision-making when choosing a wife for Yitzchak. Eliezer ruled over material possessions, and no money could influence his pure objectivity. He could not be bribed, corrupted, or enticed by gifts or words, not by anyone, whoever they were. He was in complete control. And that, my friends, is the question that we must all ask ourselves. Do we rule over the material in our lives, or does it rule over us? I'll leave you with that question, and hovering in the background can be the lesson that we learn from Eliezer, the servant of Avraham Avinu. Thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you a Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.